Welcome to Grapple-Sauce. I'm Dave, and with me tonight, Chad and Chandler.
Heyo.
Hello.
All right, good to have you two tonight. Uh, yeah, we're gonna review the AEW Dynamite for November 1st. We are in Louisville, Kentucky. I believe the home of Jim Cornette.
Jeff Jarrett was
Uh,
begging him to be on AEW this week on Twitter. Like he kept tweeting him, and I can't remember exactly what Jim Cornette said. He didn't say something nice, but he basically just said, "No, I'm not
Yeah.
allowed AEW."
Yeah, it was a pretty rude thing about at contributing to ticket sales.
yeah, the buy one get one free
Oh,
deal.
yeah. So no Cornette.
I love it. They're gonna get him one day.
I mean, Ric Flair's on a multi-year deal. They can do anything.
And the Woo energy drink, the official energy drink of AEW.
Do we even want to talk about it? Because I'm not very happy about that at all. He's so having one more match. His last match is so in AEW, like 100%.
We're gonna see
He's
somebody
turning.
die in the ring.
Yeah. He's turning on Sting, and they will both retire together
One
at
more
Revolution.
feud. One more feud.
That we don't want.
Tony Khan wants it. He wants WCW too, and he's made it. He finally has it. He just needs Goldberg.
In time. Yeah, a couple things we're looking for answers to tonight on Dynamite is what is Tony Khan's big announcement, and who will be MJF's mystery partner, or three mystery partners, that is, for the Bullet Club Gold match. Uh, Looks like we started off with a really well done recap video package, kind of highlighting Kenny Omega and MJF having their match, and yeah, really well made. What did you think, Chad, of that video package?
I thought the video package was good. I actually kind of hope they start more shows like that. It's kind of a nice way to get into it and sort of get ready for the show and see what the show is going to bring for the night. What do you guys think?
Thought it was well made. Kind of just agree. I mean, I'm a sucker for hype, so these hype packages always get me excited for the show. It's a great way to recap what we did last week or last episode. So all for it. Didn't they also do OC and Claudio one too?
Yeah, I really like them too. They're like, with any big movie, we want a trailer. And not only do we get a trailer for upcoming matches, we get kind of a recap of what happened already. So win, win, win. Yeah, really liked it.
I will say one thing though, just in hindsight, it's a shame that that one specific MJF Kenny Omega hype package had nothing to do with the show, because that was all Collision, and now that we're back in AEW, Kenny Omega is tag teaming again, MJF is with the BCG again, so kind of just back to where we were. But like you said, good hype package.
Yeah, yeah. After that, we get Renee Paquette with MJF backstage. Yeah, she wants to know who he will be teaming with tonight for the 8-man tag. We've got Adam Cole on a video chat with a amazing beard. He apparently had been growing that for a little bit. MJF leaves after telling Adam Cole uh, he's got a lot to consider. Adam Cole wants him to consider Samoa Joe as an opponent. Then we have Roderick Strong coming out. Uh, telling Adam Cole that it's obvious MJF is the devil behind the mask. Adam Cole hangs up the video chat, and yeah, we get the devil on the screen. Another cutout. I kind of feel like we're kind of playing that out a little bit at this point. I'm intrigued, but I think we need another jumping of someone with the entire group, which now that I say that, I bet we're gonna get it on Collision. But yeah, what do you think, Chandler, about the whole devil situation?
I mean, it's got to be something Adam Cole related, even if it's not Adam Cole under the mask, because I've just been watching these segments recently, and every time that the devil shows up, it's right after MJF has a call with Adam Cole. Like last week, it was right after he called him over the phone. This week, it was after the video chat. Adam Cole immediately hung up, not after he saw Roddy. So it's not just Roddy. It's when Roddy brought up the devil. And I mean, I've been in the dirt sheets, been reading. A lot of people are kind of guessing Adam Cole, obviously, because that would make sense, or like Britt Baker as a proxy for Adam Cole. Like that's out there, I get it, but I mean, I just subscribe to this has something to do with Adam Cole. Is it Adam Cole? I don't think so, because the man is genuinely injured. But who knows? Maybe this is like a higher power situation that WWF had back in the days, where there's all these intriguing plots and stories about who it could be and what, and then it's just Adam Cole or it's just MJF, and they were ribbing us the whole time. So kind of agreeing with you, Dave. It's losing a little bit of steam, but I mean, someone's under the mask. I'd like to know who's under the mask.
Oh yeah, I'd like to definitely see some progression in it. It's starting to feel same all the time. My latest reckless speculation on the whole thing is Sean Spears, maybe the rest of the Pinnacle. That's kind of my favorite one. I'm headcanon right now.
Seems like it's a lot of MJF's demons coming back to haunt him, so that's a pretty good guess.
We've got a new theory to bring to the table. Jungle Boy.
Ooh.
I have been hearing that too, because didn't he say he was going for gold right when he turned heel and was kind of spurred on by the MJF Fatal 4-Way? So now you could kind of flip it where MJF is this great baby face and Jungle Boy has a problem with that. That could be interesting.
Yeah, just as long as they give Jungle Boy some new music. That Beethoven stuff was weird and not for me.
I liked it.
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about the oh.
Yeah, he got rid of that, and
He needs to
they
bring it
gave him
back.
Beethoven. Yeah, I like the Beethoven. It really made you not like him, if that makes sense.
Like Don Callis' theme. It's not a fun poppy one. It's just a brown note. My favorite theme in wrestling right now is Don Callis's. I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh.
You get the brown note and everyone in the building booing.
Exactly. That's all you need.
That's his theme song.
That's all you need. It's like Judas where they sing it with him.
Yep. It's the anti-Judas.
He's going after Jericho right now.
Yeah. Then we have a pretty cool match, violent, revengeful match with Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli for the international title. We've got Claudio trying to get revenge for Bryan Danielson getting a broken orbital bone. Yeah, what did you two think about that match?
I thought it was great. For me, match of the night, easily. I loved Claudio's Be Violent t-shirt on the way out with the cartoon on it. That was pretty cool. Let's see here. Taking a quick peek at my notes. The reversal from the DDT into the swing, giant swing, was friggin' dope. I've never seen him get into that move like that before. And the look on Cassidy's face when he was in that sleeper, their production was perfect. They got a good close up. I loved it. And the other note, I was talking to Chandler a bit about this. Claudio trying for the Rainmaker. Do you think that was inspired? A little message to Okada.
He's going after him, so it'll happen. I'm hyped for that. But I thought this match was a lot of fun. It's pretty good. I got the note of like just kind of who Orange Cassidy is. He's not taking anyone in the BCC seriously, just because again that's who he is. And so Claudio just kind of felt like he was going to punish him for that. Like, I'm going to punish you for who you are. So anytime Orange Cassidy's laziness flare up, Claudio would just get pissed and start battering him. Like, I loved it. It's just crazy watching this Claudio and like really appreciating him. There was a like he did slammed Orange Cassidy down for a backbreaker, flipped him around and gave him a rib breaker. And it's just things like that where it's like you make it look so easy. I'm sure if I did that with like a pillow, I'd get winded. So these people are insane. I think it was when you were talking about when he was in the sleeper, Orange still managed to do the pockets. So he's still one of the best wrestlers they got. And I really liked the finish, Dave. How did it finish?
Couple cool things that I liked. The big delayed superplex on Orange into the middle of the ring. Like Chad mentioned, the reversing the swinging DDT into the giant swing. That really looked great. He got that giant swing into a scorpion block. Claudio gets a good crossface locked into Orange Cassidy. Really brutal elevated uppercut. We get a 2 count for that. We get a giant swing sleeper combination with Orange Cassidy and the sleeper. We got a orange punch and a beach break to Claudio. Claudio did the smart thing and rolled out of the ring. He ended up getting an 8 count on that. Finally got back in the ring for that 8 count. We got Orange Cassidy kicking Claudio. Orange Cassidy goes for another orange punch, but hits a Hurricane Rana instead of the orange punch mid move, and went for the pin. Doesn't or actually gets the pin from that Hurricane Rana. What a finish! Like, what a fake out. Yeah, kind of cool.
Oh man, I love how during OC's first reign and now this, how he just finds a way to win. It's never the same twice, and he always just kind of ekes one out. It's been pretty interesting. What do you think, Chandler?
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say I really liked how it was exactly how Claudio pinned Cassidy in the tag match, and oh, here he is again, and he countered it. Wrestle Dream wasn't for nothing because they're not gonna mention the Young Bucks having a tag title shot, but Hook and Orange Cassidy are still friends, so I'll take that. That's one little nugget I'll take from this. So, other than that, great start to the show. I honestly thought this would end the show. So I was really shocked when they were starting with it. But yeah. And then I can't call it a return, but big match. It's coming at full gear with who came out, Dave? I can't remember.
Good old John Moxley. Yeah, the music hit. John Moxley brutalizes Orange Cassidy. Claudio actually pulled Moxley off of Orange Cassidy. Did you guys catch that? he kind of like looked a little like I think he had a little respect for Orange Cassidy
Yeah, or I
beating
don't,
him in that match.
yeah, or I'm thinking maybe he was like, "Hey, I need to save you from yourself, John. You're going a little too far."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember if it was right after this, but that Moxley promo he was cutting in back. Oof. It's like one of those promos that gives you goosebumps because you're like, I believe everything you're saying, Moxley. I believe it. Like, again, where was this guy in WWE? They would have never let him be Moxley, but I'm so glad he can be Moxley on a national stage. It's so amazing.
His psychology in that promo, something about just like how gravelly his voice was. I was getting like Jake the Snake Robert vibes.
Yeah, he must be working with him a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. Chandler, back to the Young Bucks and that forgotten tag team or tag title match opportunity. I think a little later in the night we kind of get a hint that they might be back on the hunt for that. We'll get to that later with them.
Did we though?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they're leaving the elite
We'll get to that.
for now. We'll
We'll
get to
get to
that.
that.
But yeah, after we got Moxley beating the living crap out of Orange Cassidy and Claudio pulling him off, we've got MJF backstage about to knock on Kenny Omega's door. He knocks on the door. Jericho answers the door and smiles at him and shuts the door in his face. We got MJF walking away, and what do we get? Wardlow out of nowhere, uh, choking him up against the wall, uh, telling him he took everything from him. He was going to take everything from MJF, uh, but not yet. So I don't know. I think if he really wanted it, he could have got him right there. But yeah, then we have the Acclaimed popping out of nowhere around the corner. They offered a team with MJF, but he just walks right past. Who's he gonna pick? uh, Next up, we've got a Ring of Honor Tag Championship match. Uh, Apparently, this match was announced really late in the day, right before Dynamite went on the air. They are going with Prince Nana invoked a rematch clause for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles. We've got the Mogul Embassy, Brian Cage, Khan, and Toa Leona versus the Young Bucks and Adam Page. Uh, Pretty cool match, kind of a weird finish. Kind of made me feel like the Elite fell apart. Uh, did you get that vibe, Chandler?
Um, I guess I didn't care for any of this really. Like, if we're supposed to believe that these are the cronies of Swerve, the man who just broke into Hangman's house and cut a promo on his baby, like, wouldn't you expect Hangman to just go ballistic on these fools and just hammer them, like, thrash them, whatever? And then just, like, not a lot worked for me because I was watching the Fight TV, and so I could watch. I didn't get interrupted at all, and it was the Elite dominated, and then it went to commercial, and then it was the Gates of Agony worked over one of the Bucks, and then as soon as the commercial break ended, it went right back to the Elite. They were dominating, and then Swerve came out, distracted Hangman. He ran back, which left the Bucks isolated, and then the Gates of Agony won and got their titles back. And all I really thought was good. The Ring of Honor titles are going to be back on Ring of Honor. And then the Bucks, like, I wouldn't even call it they got mad. They threw a hissy fit. They threw a little temper tantrum. Matt Jackson, I think, was just slamming a chair into the ring. And so you're saying it might break up the Elite, which fine, but the way they executed it was not well done.
Yeah, it definitely I don't know, felt like it needed more. The one positive thing I liked about that match was the finish though. I'm a ghoul and I love playing Mortal Kombat, and I felt like I just witnessed 3 fatalities back to back to back. That was pretty sweet.
I'll give you that. It was a good ending to the match, not the post match.
Yeah.
Also, why didn't they played the big fight brawl between Swerve and Hangman, and Hangman was left tattered. Why didn't the Bucks go back and help their friend? I mean, Hangman was with them. He just got distracted by the guy who, it made sense why Hangman went back. Why didn't Young Bucks do anything? It feels like the Young Bucks are letting the Elite die. They're not doing anything to save it.
Yeah, I feel like the Bucks are getting, I don't know, apathetic or something. Like they just, I don't know. I feel like their heads aren't in it right now. Because yeah, like pre-pandemic or even during, like their storytelling was on point. Now it just feels kind of disjointed. They're, I don't know, kind of phoned in. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of getting the Cody Rhodes vibe. Like we've got Bucks Island. Like they're just off doing their own thing. Like uh, nothing's concrete. They don't have a clear pathway. Uh, yeah, they threw that tantrum, throwing the timekeeper table, hitting the post with a chair. Uh, yeah, I kind of feel like they're turning heel. Uh, and yeah, good point, Chandler. Why didn't they help Hangman backstage? Uh, and like, why, why would Hangman and kayfabe be cool with working a match? Wouldn't he be like kind of distraught about his baby? Like,
I'm more so just
uh,
saying he should have been kicking ass. Like he should have been like stomping mud holes into these guys. Like he should have been more ferocious, but he was just doing the flippy stuff with the Bucks. We're gonna do our suicide dives, have some fun, tee. Like it didn't felt like it was real after such a great Swerve thing they had. And I don't know, it's like if the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles it's what's going to tear the Elite apart, and they couldn't even bring them to the pay-per-view they were on, kind of weak in my opinion. But if it gets the Young Bucks to a better spot and they're doing the work you guys say they used to do, good. I'm glad we're moving in that direction.
I do love the finish. You kind of talked about that a little bit, Chad, with the power bomb from Brian Cage to Nick Jackson, and then the move is called a double face buster from Gates of Agony for the win. What a sick finisher! Really like that. Uh, we are getting Hangman versus Swerve 2 at Full Gear. How could that match top Hangman Swerve 1 that we saw live at Wrestle Dream?
I
Like,
mean,
what
it'll
do you
be
think,
hard to
Chandler?
top it. The one we saw was in Swerve's house. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was literally in Swerve's house. So
Yeah, that crowd was awesome. I love being part of the Seattle crowd and turning heel and cheering for Swerve. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, a lot of fuck Hangman. Like, I never thought in a million years I would be chanting that.
in the
Fuck
moment,
you.
it's fine. You're not going to Dynamite next week and he just pops out and you're going, F you, Hangman. Like it was in the moment.
Yep, yep. Ooh, thank you for the reminder. We are all going to Dynamite next week. What
I got
a treat.
I got something to say about that. I'm gonna keep it. I told Chad about it, but I'm pissed at AEW right now. But we'll keep it. We'll keep it cool.
Okay. Um, all right. We've got the Young Bucks and Hangman Page losing the titles. Uh, Swerve and Hangman get separated backstage, and Then we've got MJF backstage. He still looking for 3 partners for his match later on in the night. He hesitates to knock on Samoa Joe's door, uh, doesn't end up doing it. He walks up to Darby Allin's door and scratches off Darby Allin's name and writes emo bitch on it. Uh, he walks down the hall a little bit. The Acclaimed pop up and they have a sign that says pick us. MJF just walks past them. Uh, then we've got Tony Schiavone in the ring
Ooh,
with, well, about to introduce Adam Copeland. I gotta say, I really love the Adam Copeland intro. It's like got a lot of energy, and with all of us seeing him debut live, it really, that gives it an extra uh, sparkle, I guess, in my mind. Uh, but yeah, uh, Tony Schiavone wants to know what Adam Copeland thinks about Christian Cage challenging Darby Allin and Sting. Adam Copeland ends up putting over Tony Schiavone a little bit. The crowd ends up chanting Tony, Tony. Uh, kind of cool. Uh, Tony Schiavone wants to know if he will team with Darby Allin and Sting. Then Christian Cage's music hits, and out comes Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Uh, Christian Cage brings up Adam Copeland's neck injuries and demands that Adam Copeland back down. If he doesn't, he is going to snap his neck. Uh, at that point, Christian Cage sends Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne to the ring. Adam Copeland ends up taking them all out, but the numbers game is way too much. Christian Cage is about to give Adam Copeland the concerto. Sting and Darby Allin come out, and even the odds. Copeland ends up giving Christian Cage a pretty beautiful spear, and Adam Copeland agrees to team with Darby Allin and Sting at Full Gear. Should be a cool match. What are our betting odds on Adam Copeland turning on Sting and Darby?
I'm gonna say no because I think they're gonna turn Christian face. I don't think they're gonna turn Edge or Adam Copeland heel. I think they're doing a long term. We're gonna do Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys. We're gonna have kind of a old folks retirement tour next year for 2024. That's gonna be my big bold prediction. So you're gonna see Ric Flair and Sting, and you're gonna see that triple or trios tag title ladder match from WrestleMania 2000, 24 years after.
Yeah,
But I mean, other
yeah.
than that, I thought it was a fun segment. I'll talk about it after what you say, Chad. Do you think he's gonna be heel?
No, yeah, I kind of line in with you on that one. I think his prediction from the beginning, where Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are going to turn on Christian, and then he'll be there ready, waiting for him. Although I'd like to see them back together. I feel like on his own, Adam Copeland's just a little too white meat baby face. He doesn't have a lot of depth to him. He seems very paint by numbers. Maybe it's just because he's really only ever been with the WWE for 20 some years. He feels very like, oh, this is my cookie cutter, this is where I live kind of thing. And maybe he needs a little more character development. What do you think?
He definitely needs to step out of his comfort zone, being with the WWE forever. Uh, yeah, he's probably not used to having his own personality, his own character yet. So Yeah, I agree totally. What do you think, Chandler?
The segment was pretty dang good though. I kind of wrote my notes as it was happening, obviously. And one thing I wrote was Christian insinuates that he'll retire Edge. That's all I wrote because that's all he had said. And then he went, I'm gonna snap your neck and leave you in a wheelchair, and you're gonna have like your kids are gonna have to clean up your drool. And I was like, oh, Christian's just going there. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you, man. Like that's my plan right now. Other notes I had for this, Sting's makeup and hair was fantastic. It looks like they're doing whatever they can to roll back the clock on him, which I'm all for. Like, it's his retirement match. You're going to be taking a lot of pictures. Everything's going to be recording. You're going to want Sting to look good. But other than that, I mean, I kind of was saying all along that Edge was going to go to Full Gear. And I really just, I think since Edge's returned, they've only been interested in doing him as face, which I kind of get because no one ever thought he'd be back. So I'm fine with him being face, but I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know if it's AEW fault, but he kind of just feels like he's a part of the roster and not in a good way. Like you see Sting pop up still. That's huge. You see Kenny Omega. That's huge. You see John Moxley come back. It's huge. You see Adam Copeland show up. You're like, it's Adam Copeland. And I'm kind of sad about that because he's such a big talent. He's an 11-time world champion. I was like, it's one of those things where you see it and you're like, oh, yeah, he was huge. And I don't really know what the hesitation is. I mean, maybe it's just because they got a lot more bigger things going on at the moment, but
All right.
I don't know.
I just had something that popped into my head. The way to fix it: 3 words: live sex show.
Earn that rated R superstar. They bought the moniker. You got to earn it, Tony. Speaking of Tony Khan.
Yeah. Nice segue.
Ooh.
Yeah, we get the big Tony Khan announcement. And what is it?
Before we get
We're
into
gonna
that,
put
I have a big announcement for this podcast. I'm going to be going to bed tonight in that bed right there. That is my big announcement. Sorry to interrupt. What was Tony Khan's big announcement? I think I'll be stunned.
all right. Tickets for All In 2024 are gonna go on sale. Lee. What?
Does anyone take these seriously anymore? Like, you gotta.
I did.
You could have done this so like you could have said Tony Khan's going to talk about All In, and everyone would have gone by like, oh, okay, he's probably just going to talk about tickets, maybe announce a big name. I don't know, but no, it had to be a big announcement. So he had to get everyone's hopes up. Like maybe not everyone, but like at least me. I was like, okay, what's it gonna be? And it's just we'll be selling tickets in a month.
Although I do have to admit, he's getting better on the mic. Before he just seems like fidgety and just a little too excited. Like you've seen him come out after the show now at Wrestle Dream, right? He did that.
He came out for the pre-show. He did the Anoki like,
and he's usually super like amped up, and it's kind of almost hard to follow what he's saying. Maybe like he had a little too much fun, but that's how he used to always talk. I feel like he's slowing down. He seems more professional or comfortable on the mic now. But
or they gave him a teleprompter.
Yeah, or just told security to keep his coke dealer out of the building.
Wouldn't be surprised if he took like acting classes or like had a coach for that. He'll need to be an on television personality. Like eventually, you can't not be. Like if Eric Bischoff never would have been on TV, I think that would have been a bad idea. If Vince McMahon was never on TV, I think that would have been a bad idea. So I think he'll need to be an authority figure on screen with an impact pulling the strings. So eventually he'll be doing that. But yeah, what I wrote, what a letdown on the big announcement. I do have a that Possibly he was going to announce something else, and it fell through. There's some chatter about uh, Warner Brother Discovery and AEW still not having a deal worked out. And I don't know. I kind of feel like he was close to announcing uh, a renewal deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, and that didn't happen. So
You could have even brought up like it was announced the day after, but I'm sure they knew. You could have said, "Hey, Ric Flair signed a multi-year contract." Like, even though I'm very public, I'm not happy about that. That is still a big announcement. So you could have done that. That would have satisfied people more than just.
So what's the over under on Ric Flair living to see the end of that contract? Sorry, did I just go a little? Did I just turn T heel on
no.
there? Did I just
No,
Christians?
it's a good question. It's a good question. I'll be hopeful and say he makes it.
Yeah, I thought about that too. How many years is it? They just said multi-year, right? Nothing concrete on the 2, 3, 5. I think
Everyone's
it kind of
doing 5-year
depends.
deals, probably 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine he will make it, but I'm rooting for him, you know. Uh, let's see. Yeah, what letdown on that big announcement. But another question I have, with the tickets going on sale so early, will that increase their chances of selling out Wembley?
Well, maybe because did you know there's a very, very big WWE event the week after? They're doing a like basic. I don't know the size of the stadium. I'm sure it's not comparable to Wembley, but at whatever Germany's Superdome is, they're doing a show there. It's called like Bash in Berlin, and it's literally the
Bash in
week
Berlin.
after. So
Hmm.
I think this is Tony Khan trying to get ahead of that and being like, "Hey, buy tickets now because now there's direct competition." Again, I literally you just say, "Hey, he's going to talk about All In." People would have been stoked. Oh shit, he's talking about All In. He didn't do that last time. So,
Yeah, no. And to be fair, WWE's been killing their international shows. Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, like I heard that was just a huge pop, an amazing show.
that was one of the few WWE shows I missed this year. I want to go back and watch that match specifically because it's, I mean, a lot of people say the Attitude Era came back alive for one night, and it was basically just an Attitude Era crowd just in Puerto Rico, and they were going ballistic for everything. So, one of those shows that I definitely want to go back and check out.
Bad Bunny at WrestleMania killed it for me. Actually, I wouldn't mind catching that match too.
Don't they have Crown Jewel coming up in 2 days?
Yeah, this Saturday. It's a very nice 11 o'clock pay-per-view, so I can watch it live without being spoiled. So I'll be checking that out. Logan Paul is gonna win his first WWE title. Not the big one, but he's gonna win a title. I'm very certain of that. Other than that, I think it's gonna be a pretty stock standard pay-per-view.
What is it? US title or
Yeah, it's the US
Intercontinental?
title. He's going after Rey Mysterio.
Didn't know Ray had it.
He's still around.
Yeah, no, this Logan Paul's kills it, man. Him and Seth had that amazing match.
It's so sad how good Logan Paul is, but he's so good at this. And a lot of people want to detract because apparently he rehearses his matches like 1,000 times. And it's like, who cares? Randy Savage rehearsed his matches. Is he not one of the greatest of all times?
Yeah, no, it's called work ethic. Like, who cares?
So I'm as much of a prick as Logan Paul is in real life. I don't give a shit when that bell rings. He's pretty goddamn good. And I want him to win that title.
Well, all right. Next up, we've got Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. I call them XJAS. versus Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, um, who are known as the Golden Jets. Chad will know all about this.
Yeah, including Don Callis on there. 3 boys from Winnipeg. You wouldn't know that, Chandler, but that's my hometown. It's where I grew up.
Oh wow, that's
So,
cool.
so
How
yeah, it's
about
good.
that?
Good to see local boys make good. Like, who would have thought that you'd get all that Winnipeg talent in one place?
Well, not just talent, like generational talent.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
And and the Jets is, of course, the Winnipeg Jets. They're NHL team.
Oh, a lot of people have been saying, like, why the hell are they the Golden Jets? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're a Winnipeg thing, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So yeah, Golden Lovers and the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, I was pretty stoked when Dawn. I was like, oh, 3 guys. Like, what are the odds? Probably the only 3 from Winnipeg in pro wrestling, and they're all on the same shot.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah, we got Don Callis on commentary. Kind of a few initial thoughts. Jericho and Omega should be wrestling bigger names. Like, what are they doing wrestling these two? I don't know. How do you two feel about that?
The match should not have been competitive at all. You've got 2 former world champions versus a couple of schlubs. Yeah, no, they should have been a
That's
squash match.
light.
Yeah.
That's putting it politely.
I didn't have a
Yeah,
whole
what do you
lot
think,
written
Chandler?
down for this. I kind of just wrote down again. I'm very happy that Kyle Fletcher is like definitely in the Don Callis family. I mean, I've said it every single podcast we've had, but it's just so often for one tag team wrestler to be injured and then they just leave the other one off TV for months. So, like, look at Jay Uso right now. That only happened because Jimmy was injured. So think about what they could be doing with Kyle Fletcher right now. I'm all for it, but back to this. There was a crowd that said Judusy in my mind. That was pretty funny sign. And then I just literally everything else I have is the finish or the end of the match because this match was just nothing. I mean, like I said, the promo package was great, but it had nothing to do with Kenny Omega because he's back to wrestling kind of boring tag matches. And it sucks to say because he's got to like take care of his body and he's getting to the end of his career. So this is a way of seeing Kenny Omega and not having him do these crazy 5-star matches every week. And I don't want a crazy 5-star match every week, but maybe you just don't have Kenny Omega on the show this week. Maybe he just stands at ringside and someone else wrestles. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the match, like, it was nothing. I literally felt nothing watching this.
I felt like Jericho looked unusually nimble and flexible and quick and looked really good tonight. Which, I mean, he should have against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Uh, yeah. There have been matches with Jericho that I've watched that I felt like, ugh, like a little cringy. Like he was stiff and couldn't move and couldn't do it like he used to. So it was kind of good to see that tonight. Uh, cool spot. We had Kenny Omega giving Jake Hager a V trigger as Jake Hager tries to get in the ring. Then we got Kenny Omega diving onto Jake Hager on the outside of the ring. We've got Jericho going for a lion assault, but Matt Menard hits him in the head with his own bat. Then Matt Menard hands Angelo Parker the bat in front of Aubrey Edwards. Proceeds to try to hit Jericho with the bat in front of Aubrey Edwards. Shouldn't that have been a disqualification? I don't know. But Jericho dodges the bat and lands the Judas effect. Yeah, kind of quick match. But yeah, I like the Judas effect. Good looking move. And yeah, we got another win for the now undefeated Golden Jets.
Yeah, yeah, I think I really said all I need to on that one. I don't know. I kind of want to see the Callis family level up from this. So they need. I think they need to end up winning the feud. All said and done. Uh, I'll save my thoughts for once you get through the big reveal. But what did you think, Chandler?
Same thing. They need to win some gold. I don't think I've said it that much in this review because he hasn't wrestled, but one of the wrestlers, like top 3 AEW wrestlers for me, is Takeshita as well. I think he's insane. Like, you see people where you believe their moves. Takeshita, I believe everything he does would break me into 5,000 pieces. So I love Takeshita right now. I'd love to see a title around him. Even like give him some tag titles because they're not really doing anything with those right now. But yeah, if you want to get into how it ends, because I have a lot to say about what literally precedes all of this.
After Kenny and Jericho win the match, Don and all of his family get up, and Don Callis challenges Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho to a street fight in 2 weeks from that Dynamite. Kenny Omega ends up wanting Kota Ibushi to be the third man, and Jericho reveals Paul White to be the fourth man, someone who's bigger than Will Hobbs. Yeah, he sure is bigger than Will Hobbs. Yeah. Paul White, to me, did not look that great. Pretty decrepit. His body was just kind of like he was really trying to stand up, if that makes sense. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't look natural.
No, this is a man that gave his body to the industry. He put himself through hell. Somebody that big, he's got so much wear and tear on all of his joints. Yeah, he's had what hip replacements, and his knees have been had surgery on them. There's no way he should be moving good. Like, he's a giant dude who's wrestled for since the 90s. Um, yeah, no, I think he's got one job in here, and that's to let Will Hobbs hit him with his oh shoot, what's his move? I'm spacing it.
Spinebuster?
Spine busters, thank you. A few times and make Will Hobbs look like $1,000,000. Like, really, that's what these guys should be doing right now, is setting up the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I said I was pissed at AEW just personally, because they said 2 weeks from now, not like next week. Like, come on, guys, you've been announcing all these matches, and it's literally for no reason. It's just 2 weeks from now we'll do it. So, whatever. And then, I mean, I'm gonna call him Big Show because I'm gonna be talking about him in WWE. But Big Show was looking old and bad in WWE. I mean, they wouldn't use him for years. He was asking for a Shaquille O'Neal match for years at WrestleMania, and they kept not doing it because they were like, no, like I think they wanted to do a big celebrity match, but not with Big Show. And I think that's for a reason. And like you said, Dave, he didn't look good. He literally looks like he's like misshaped, like not scoliosis, but like his hips were misplaced, and he looked like he couldn't walk well. And so you're saying just have Powerhouse Hobbs hit him with a spine buster. I don't want to see that. I think his legs are gonna fall off. Like, I get it, put over the younger generation, but how old is Big Show? He was around at WCW, and like no one wants to see this. So I really hope this is like one match. And this is also like, why is Kenny Omega involved in this? Like, he had that phenomenal singles match with MJF over the title, and everyone's kind of just like, okay, that's like main event Kenny Omega. He's back. He's around, guys. He's going to have his great matches again. And it's like, nope, he's going to be tag teaming with Paul White. So, I mean, I'm not too jazzed for this match. I kind of just hope it's the end of this feud. That's all I really got to say. Like, I hope this is his last match. As sad as that sounds, he just doesn't look like he can do it anymore. Doesn't look like he should be doing it.
Yeah, I hope all of this leads to a retirement match for Paul White. Yeah, man, it just looks so bad. Like Kyle Fletcher, it was almost like, come here so I can punch you. You know what I mean? Is what it looked like to me on television.
Run
Like,
into my fist. Just run right into it. It's right there, man.
yep, that's exactly how I felt with that. Like, come here so you can run into my fist. So I don't know if either one of you have seen Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. Uh, there's a scene with Tim Robbins outside the Rock and Roll History Museum, and he's like, "Come here so I can stab you." And Jack Black's like, "No, no," and just runs away. And that's exactly what I thought of when I saw uh, Paul White punch Kyle Fletcher. But yeah, I don't know. I knew it was coming because Chris Jericho trademarked Jericho like a month ago. So I kind of had a funny feeling. And yeah, I could take it or leave it. But it's good to see him. I watched him when I was a pretty young child in WCW. So I'll be rooting for him. He needs to retire though. Yeah.
I mean, maybe like there's been tons of times where a wrestler looked bad walking down to the ring, but somehow the bell rings, the lights turn on, and they can pull a decent match out of their ass. So I'm going to say Paul White's a professional. I hope he knows his limits and he can put on a good show. That's all I really can say.
Ooh, we do have a caveat here. It is a street fight or a parking lot, one of the
I think they
two.
said street fight.
Yeah, so he won't have to really, you know, hold up most of the weight, of the match. So that'll be good. That'll be a perfect way to for him not to have to look that good.
He'll punch Kyle Fletcher in the face, knock him out, and then Powerhouse Hobbs will spinebuster him in some tables, and that'll be it.
Gotta get a choke slam though, right?
Yeah, that's like he's gonna do 2 moves, and then Powerhouse Hobbs is gonna take him out, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll look good. I'll be, you know, I don't know. I don't want to set the bar too high, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
I did like the next 2 segments, so the backstage segment and the next match. So we're getting up into some better times.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Renee Paquette in the back with Jericho, with Kenny Omega in the Elite's locker room. Matt Jackson asks Kenny Omega, who invited this prick into our locker room. Uh, Kenny Omega kind of gives him the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. Uh, and the Young Bucks kind of walk out on him. So a little bit of tension in the Elite, which I kind of like. They haven't done any Elite storyline in quite a bit. So uh, I think it's just what we needed. We got the tension with Hangman Page running out on the Young Bucks, and then Kenny Omega kind of choosing Chris Jericho over the Bucks. So yeah, kind of spicing that up a little bit. I believe I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm going to say, as I always end up saying this with every single elite storyline, which is right at the beginning, which is I'm gonna wait and see. I wasn't super feeling it this segment specifically. Maybe it was just the mood I was in or whatever. But usually by the end of what like the storyline or whatever, they always have me won over, and I'm always like in it. So, uh, but yeah, for me, I don't know. I just wasn't quite feeling it yet. But I'll wait and see. Because I mean, we know what they're capable of, and yeah, maybe for me it was just a slow start or something. What's your opinions, Chandler?
Kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't dislike Jericho. I have a lot of respect for him. I remember watching him back in the day, but I kind of just don't want him doing anything with Kenny Omega because I'm just not interested in seeing them tag. But I get it. They're finishing their Don Callis story, and then I'm glad that the Elite or the Young Bucks aren't just like, yeah, we'll follow you, Kenny Omega, into the depths of the hell. They're being like a little like, they're like, no, we're kind of done with this. Like, you're just sinking into this Don Callis hole, and you're teaming up with people you would never team up with if you were thinking rationally. So, like, we're just walking away. So, again, if it leads to somewhere, and the heel Young Bucks are as good as people always say they are, then hell yeah, I'm all for it. But as of right now, it's not being executed great. So, kind of just like whatever. I'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Chad. Like, they usually don't start off very captivating with the elite storylines, but they usually pull through in the end. If not giving an incredible match that tells the entire story through the whole match. Like, even if we get just that and no, you know, quality storyline, I'll be fine. Because the stories that they can tell in the ring, unbelievable. I've seen it with uh, Young Bucks versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, uh, Young Bucks and FTR, Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. The story they tell in the ring, yeah, worth it.
I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for some Young Bucks. Are they that young though anymore?
Now they're just the Bucks.
Oh, yep. Yeah, next up we've got the AEW Women's World Championship match. Hikaru Shida versus Willow Nightingale. Uh Great match. Very hard hitting. Willow Nightingale is going places. She she looked like $1,000,000. Uh it looks like at one point before Picture in Picture, or maybe after it, I did write down that Excalibur promotes the show Wipeout starring John Cena on TBS.
I was gonna say that they said the name Jonathan Cena on AEW Dynamite. I freaked out. I was like, "You're joking!" And then they were like, "Oh, we're just promoting Wipeout. Like, you can. It's just a name. You can say that." I was like, "No way!" Oh my gosh!
Ta-
Yeah,
Taz called him out. Did you hear that? He's like, "Can you say that?" And he's like, "That's his real name."
it was so weird. I forget that John Cena does stuff outside of WWE, like his acting stuff, but funny. But yeah, I mean, not to get too far ahead, but I really liked this match. I thought it was really good. This is my first Willow Nightingale like singles match. I think she was in the pre-show of Wrestle Dream, but there was like an 8-man tag, and I only remember Kojima, so I can't remember everything, but this was great. I mean, she did a pounce on Sheeta that, like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but at WrestleMania this year, Angelo Dawkins gave a monstrous pounce to Braun Strowman at just a tag match, but it was like insane. And this was kind of like that, where I wasn't really expecting it. And Willow just comes out of nowhere and just throws her to the ground. It was so cool. And like the Falcon Arrow from the rope to the kick out at 1 from Willow, like that was great. So I agree with you, Dave. I hope good things are in store for Willow. I think they're just kind of tied up with the Tony Storm thing for now, but maybe Willow will go for the TBS title. That would be pretty hot fire. So I'm all for her. I'm on the Willow train.
Yeah. The match definitely lived up to its hype. They tried to say what, because Willow won that tournament, that's why they were giving her the shot.
The Owen Hart thing?
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
long ago.
to be fair though, 2 weeks ago she lost the Fatal 4-Way. Like, that's the only thing there's that weird logic loophole for me is like, well, how'd she get a title shot?
I think they wanted a women's match on the show for the title, and they needed someone to lose.
And also, we were talking about promotions, and my real question is for Dave, which is he going to purchase the Tony Micro Brawler?
I'm not.
No!
You've got to start putting up your action figure collection around.
I know.
The people need to see it.
Lately, I've actually been addicted to buying vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, yeah, I'm kind of doing that thing right now. But yeah, it would look cool if I got some of my figures and put them up behind me. I've got a lot.
Yeah. Oh, my
Uh,
other note on this match too. It was such a quick move, but man, it was a thing of beauty. The Sheeta's question mark kick. I don't know if you guys remember that thing. Oh my god, that thing looked legit.
I'm really starting to like
yeah,
Sheeta. She's pretty damn good.
There's a reason why they keep putting the belt back on her. I think she's kind of
yeah.
like the
Other
women's division's John Moxley. When in doubt, just give it to her. She'll figure it out.
Mhm. Other than the finisher with Sheeta nailing the katana on Willow, most of the offense that really stood out to me was Willow to Sheeta. Uh, yeah, she looked powerful. She looked dominant. Uh, we did get that actually Avalanche Falcon arrow to Willow, but Willow came out of that looking stronger by kicking out after one. Uh, Freaking what a beast. We got that big pounce that you talked about, Chandler. Uh, got a big Death Valley driver to Sheeta for a 2 count that really stood out to me. We got Sheeta winning the match with the katana. She shakes Willow's hand. Willow accepts. Then we got Tony Storm coming out to steal the spotlight yet again. Sheeta's having none of it. She runs up the ramp and gives her a big knee. We've got the lights going out, pretty big trend in AEW nowadays. Julia Hart in the ring with Willow Nightingale. Julia Hart offers Willow Nightingale her hand. Sky Blue ends up coming out. And at first, we think Sky Blue has aligned with Julia Hart, but she turns around and sprays a blue mist all over Julia Hart. Uh, no, she was probably going for her face, but it really only got on her neck. uh, kind of funny. Uh, but yeah, what I liked the most about this whole thing was Willow Nightingale just laughing her ass off at the whole situation. Uh, yeah, kind of cool. Like, what's going on with Sky Blue? Is she heel, face, in between? What's going on?
I don't know. I've been taking a lot of this Julia Hart myth story at face value because I've honestly missed a lot of it. Funny enough, but back to the Tony Storm one real quick. I really loved it just because of her comical running. Like, she was terrified of Sheeta coming after her, so I thought that was really funny. Poor Luther, he had his pillow with the shoe, and Sheeta swatted it away. But back to this Sky Blue stuff, I was kind of confused because the internet is telling you that Julia Hart is building her own woman House of Black, and it was going to be Sky Blue, and I don't know who else she missed it, but Sky Blue was the first one, and she was kind of falling, and then she came out, and this is what's progressing it. Like, oh, here it is. She's going to turn on Willow, beat her down, and then she spits on Julia, which I think is like a decent swerve, but it's also like, where are you going with this? And all I wrote down was goth, but not evil. There is a difference. So, yeah, I'm interested. A whole two different women's story on the show. Tony Khan, you're outdoing yourself, man. But yeah, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward goth on goth fight. As a reformed goth kid myself, I'm going to eat that one up.
Mm-hmm.
And also another funny note, just on the production when Sheeta went tearing after Tony Storm, I just thought it was hilarious when she ran from towards the end and she ran into the other camera. And she ran into the black and white camera, so all of a sudden she went from color to black and white. It just looked, I don't know, it tickled me. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, the whole part of that Sheeta going after Tony Storm, I thought it was the perfect way to end this like 3 show. You have Sheeta have a match and then Tony Storm interrupt. I really like how they're progressing it. It's simple, but Sheeta's like, I'm done with you coming out after my matches and stealing my spotlight. I'm gonna smash your head in. So I'm all for it.
It's good to have a storyline for the women's division, let alone 2, like on one show. Wow, what a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, say that they've finally done it and fixed the women's division, but they're doing, a little more than usual. But yeah, should be fun. Goth on goth. Yeah, I'll take it. Uh, next up, we've got MJF in the back. The Acclaimed try to get MJF to team with him, but all he's got to do is scissor with them and wear what they have in the trash bag. MJF says no. And then around the corner, we've got Jeff Jarrett and his cronies looking shady AF. MJF looks at them, looks down at the bag. What is he going to do? Yeah, I kind of like how they kept coming back to this. This is what, the 3rd time in the night. That seems very like old WWF to me, like Attitude Era, kind of like. Or did they kind of do anything like that, Chandler, in the 2000s?
So not really. A lot of the stuff was kind of like segmented. Like the more current Raw and SmackDown have kind of been doing that. But yeah, I've been wanting to talk about because these little MJF looking for team member segments were probably my favorite moment throughout the whole show. Like even better than the matches. I thought they were really concise and funny. I definitely gave up on my theory after the Samoa Joe Thor. I was like, yeah, he's not going after KO, Samoa Joe, Wardlow. That was a fun idea, but he's not just going to do that. And then I was thinking out through the entire night, like, who is he going to pick? I kind of thought, like, maybe he's going to go with the Don Callis family, sell his soul. And then when it was revealed that it was Jarrett's team, that was the loudest I reacted through the whole show. I laughed my ass off. I was like, let's fucking do this. Jeff Jarrett in the main event. Yes, please. I'm here for this. And obviously MJF didn't go for that, which I was disappointed with the Tony Khan announcement. I was not disappointed that it was the Acclaimed because it was still funny. It was still entertaining. So I had nothing wrong with that. But seeing Jeff Jarrett, and he was perfect. He was like, yeah, baby, you know what you're getting into with me. And all his cronies behind him just laughing it up. I was like, this is exactly what I want with this. Even though I want it to be a little bit more serious, when we're still on this jokey side, it was done perfectly tonight.
Yeah, I was kind of gunning for him to. I was like, yeah, go with Jarrett. Jarrett's hilarious. And Satnam sings big deep voice. Oh man, yeah, that had me cracking up too.
Yeah, I like how they left it on the cliffhanger, him looking down at the trash bag. That was really cool. Um, who will it be? Then we've got Roderick Strong calling
Renee!
Adam Cole.
Renee! I like how that's just how he talks.
Adam! Adam!
Max!
Uh,
Max!
l- love it. Yeah, yeah. Good character work from him. Uh, Adam Cole ends up telling Roderick Strong to shut the hell up and hung up on him. So yeah, I kind of like that. Uh, that kind of made me think like, oh shit, is Adam Cole the devil? Like, what is going on right now? So yeah, we'll see. Uh, now we've got the main event for Dynamite. Jay White, Juice Robinson, Austin and Colton Gunn versus MJF, and who? The Acclaimed. He finally picked the Acclaimed. Uh, Pretty happy about that. Not only did he pick the Acclaimed, but he came out wearing pink ring gear, had a pink scarf, which was a nice touch, and a Acclaimed Scissor Me T-shirt. Uh, yeah, how are you not gonna love every part of that? Uh, One cool thing I wrote down too, the rap that Max Caster did, the ending of it basically was Jay White and Juice Robinson are two New Japan rejects and the Ass Boys. It was kind of cool. Uh, but yeah, fun match. It was really kind of a feel good situation in my mind. The whole thing. He could have picked a lot of people. The Acclaimed were probably the most appropriate choice in my mind. Uh, but yeah, what did you guys think about his choice?
I liked it. I mean, you yeah, you got another great Max Caster rap out of it. Their chemistry, like during this whole thing's been great, and it had to culminate event in them eventually scissoring. Like that's just MJF's been so good at making those moments, like you wanting them and waiting for them, and eventually popping when it happens. Whether it's body slamming a big guy or shoving a dude up his butt. Uh, no, it was good. It was the match we needed, and the perfect build to the even bigger match coming up.
Yeah, I mean, still fun. Acclaimed are a lot of fun. I kind of believe now that the Bullet Club Gold will be the next trios champions because they're haven't been doing much with them and they're getting involved. And I think spoilers. I don't think MJF is losing the title at Full Gear. I think he's gonna finally get it back and send Jay White packing. So this is gonna be not a consolation prize, but like, hey, at least the Bullet Club Gold can do something. They're gonna win this, which I'm all for. I don't dislike the Bullet Club Gold angle. I'm not enjoying it. I'm kind of ready for it to be over. I was pretty disappointed when spoilers to the end of the match, but MJF still can't get the stupid title back. But I get what they're leading towards. And the lead up to the match is gonna be all it took was one Blade Runner and MJF was done. So that's the whole. This is a classic, like it feels like a very WWE storyline, which is odd because this is AEW. All I've heard is like, oh, they're super indies, yada yada yada. So for them to be doing a very WWE storyline is a little surprising to me. But
Yeah, for me, they give, not everybody, but they give their talents a lot of room to go with their own creative, especially somebody like MJF. And to me, this just has MJF's sensibilities all over it, which is he's a sports entertainer. He's so good at what he does. And he can go in the ring. And when he finally does, you're always like, whoa, because you don't see it a lot. And, but, kind of like the whole, Brock Lesnar, he shows it to you every now and then. And when you do, you're like, oh my God. So
That's why you're at where you're at. I have to remember that when you're not around or you're doing silly stuff, you're one of the best that's alive right now. I have to remember that. And I'm still looking forward to the match. I think it'll be a good match. It's just this feud isn't doing much for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's a transition feud. Then he'll get into is the real big one for World's End, I bet. It's just kind of it's what he's got to do to get there. And I feel like especially, a few more big injuries, I think he's kind of really taking the company on his back right now. Brian's out again, Adam Cole. So I don't know. I think he gets ratings and they're putting him all over the show because of it.
He's definitely what people want to see. Yeah, something kind of cool about the match. Not only was it Billy Gunn's birthday, I think they said he was 60 years old.
We're talking about all these old people and how they can't go, and then Billy Gunn comes out, and I'm like, yeah, Billy Gunn! Like,
I might be wrong, but I could have swore they said 60.
I think you're right.
Sounds about right.
It was kind of cool, right? It was really cool him actually wrestling his children. Kind of cool watching that happen. Yeah, he's in great shape. I think he's in better shape and more over than he was in the 90s. Somehow right now today. At one point, Austin Gunn went for some road dog punches. Billy Gunn shut that down real quick. Did the Degeneration X suck it taunt, and the crowd erupted with suck it chant. That was kind of cool. MJF still won't scissor with the Acclaimed. At one point, we get MJF actually kind of teases a scissor party with the Acclaimed, but the Bullet Club shut that down. We get a let them scissor chant, which was kind of cool. Let's see. We get a hot tag to MJF. MJF cleans house, suplexes Juice Robinson, Austin, and Colton. MJF actually countered the 310 to Yuma into a DDT, which looked really cool. MJF actually hit the kangaroo kick too. And then while MJF was distracted, Sneaky Jay White snuck in there and hit the Blade Runner for the win. MJF didn't get the belt back. And we got Jay White going to hit MJF with the belt, but Max Caster jumps in and kind of takes the bullet on that. I thought that was kind of cool. Do you think he earned MJF's respect from that, Chandler?
Yeah, just some other stuff I noticed throughout the match. Fast forwarding a bit, I just loved MJF selling through the match. He just looked like he was so embarrassed to be with the Acclaimed, and he was like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I literally have no one else. And like, it was perfect. They were doing their Scissor Me Timbers where he goes from the top, and just MJF was like kind of covering his face. He's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, it was all great. A lot of my notes were actually stuff they were announcing for Full Gear, so we'll get to that maybe after. But yeah, I mean, he's at least on the road to it because I was shocked to see MJF take the pin. But again, it's setting up to that. Oh, that's all Jay White needs is one Blade Runner, and he's not going up against just Jay White. He's going against the whole Bullet Club Gold, which that's the story they're telling. So that's how it's going. But again, it was great. I loved Billy Gunn pulling him away. I'm sure you could hear it because it was pretty audible. He's just like, "You fucking scissor him now," and it's just like one of those things where it's like, I can't believe that's a phrase that was said. Like, You fast forward back to Billy Gunn in the WWF era, and you're just like, hey, in 2023, out of everyone in DX, you're still wrestling, and you're going to look at the current world champion of the second biggest competition to WWE, and you're going to tell him you're going to fucking scissor him now. Like, boggles my mind, wrestling in 2023, guys. But yeah, and then they got their four-way scissoring, which was, I mean, cathartic. At least it had a happy ending. So I keep on saying I just want MJF to have the title back, and at this point, I'm going to stop saying that because he's not getting it back until Full Gear. I'm just going to accept that. But it was a fine match. Lots of fun moments. MJF and the Acclaimed are fantastic, and it was fun to see him tagging together, and I hope we see him more. What about you, Chad?
Yeah, much the same. It's kind of a fun little feud to get us to where we're going. Kind of looking forward to the end of it, but I've been enjoying the ride along the way. Like he walks such a good line of like humor and still like being compelling and serious when he needs to be. MJF to me he's 26. Like, how the heck is this guy matured that much to put this whole company on his back? I was very much sports entertained through all of this. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, good feel good ending. I kind of wrote in my notes here also my high point of the episode and my low point. I'm gonna let you guys know both of them and maybe kind of think about each of your high point and each of your low point of the episode. My high point was definitely MJF picking the Acclaimed, like feel good moment, had to happen. Uh, the whole match. It was meant to be. It couldn't have been the Kingdom, like that wouldn't have worked. Uh, and then my low point of the night was the Tony Khan announcement. Huge letdown. But how about you two? What were your high point and your low point of the episode?
Low point for me was definitely Paul White. Like, I think everyone kind of expected it, but seeing him was a lot worse than I expected. So, yeah, as much like I think partially for me, I got the Tony Khan announcement spoiled because I still watched this the morning after. So it was like, oh, it's just all in stuff, whatever. But the Paul White stuff was just like, oh, he looks so bad. And what's this new era of AEW we're in where we're bringing in Ric Flair, we're bringing in Paul White again? Like, what are we doing, guys? But high point.
Damn.
I don't like if they can still wrestle, I'm fine. Like Edge and Christian can still wrestle. I don't care about them being around, but if you look at Paul White, he looks like he literally can't be standing up right now. But my high point, there was actually like this is a good thing. It's kind of hard for me to narrow it down because there's a lot of stuff I really liked about this show. I'm gonna say I just really liked the backstage segments with MJF. I thought they were pretty entertaining all throughout the show. I like how they continually build the story. And again, that stupid bit with Jeff Jarrett at the end was the most I reacted for the entire show. Just because I didn't expect it and I thought it was funny. So high points would be just MJF in the backstage throughout the night. Low point would be Paul White, unfortunately.
Yeah, for me, my high point actually was also a backstage segment, but I loved my boy John Moxley. That him spitting fire at the camera. For me, that's when he's at his best, and I think it was simple and old school. And I would not want to see that John Moxley in a back alley because he would murder you. For me, low point, I'm going with Chandler on that one. Big Show, Paul White, whatever we call him. Just not a fit for me. On a positive note, though, Collision card: Fox versus Strickland, Darby versus Archer. That's shaping up to be a hell of a good looking show. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the collision card yet. I did hear about Darby and Archer, and what was the other one?
AR
Swerve and AR.
Fox. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, that was announced on Dynamite. But I do have the full gear card so far. Kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit too. Uh, for the 0 hour pre-show, we've got MJF and a mystery partner. Um, they are defending the Ring of Honor tag team titles against Austin and Colton Gunn. Uh, yeah, that should be cool to figure out who the mystery partner is. Anyone got a guess on that? I really have nothing.
Samoa Joe or a
yeah.
member of the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I think it's Joe. I think he's going to take Adam Cole's advice, which I'm thinking that that advice from Adam Cole is foreshadowing for the inevitable, sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Well, I didn't see it, but I think I heard it. Like, partially the only reason why MJF was able to beat Samoa Joe was Adam Cole kind of interfered. Like, he gave him tape or something like that allowed him to choke out Joe. So maybe Adam Cole's like, I just don't want you to have the title. I don't know what kind of 3D chess he's playing, but for adhering to that theory, he's like, yeah, you should go after Joe because he knows he can't beat Joe. Which, hey, they're putting the AEW title on Samoa Joe. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But
the king of television.
I think it'll either be Max Caster or Samoa Joe. Billy Gunn would be really funny, so he would be going up against his sons, but that's kind of it.
Any wild speculation, Dave?
I mean, I think maybe just Max Caster might be a good candidate. I think that'd be the safe bet. Now that he proved himself and took a belt shot to the head for MJF. Yeah, I'll probably go with Max Caster. We've also got Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland 2. We kind of touched on that a little earlier. I don't know how they're going to top Hangman versus Swerve 1 that we saw live.
Really crazy stipulations.
Let them try. Yeah, I think a cage match was appropriate for the first match. So they might dabble in a cage match maybe.
Yeah,
What
that's
do you
one
think,
thing
Chandler?
I was just gonna say this is feeling like a blood feud almost, so they should probably do something. Steel cage match sounds good because I wouldn't say something like lights out or something crazy like that. We're not that far up in the feud. That should be like the third match to end it, but steel cage match would be pretty fun. Do they do the rule in eight? I hate this rule, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. Do they do the rule in steel cage matches where if you escape it, you win? So you have I hate that rule, but I was gonna say that wouldn't be a bad way for Hangman to get a win, so they're even, and then Swerve can win the last one. But yeah, some fun gimmick would be a good idea.
Ooh, if you ever feel like delving more into the past, Cody Rhodes versus Wardlow in a cage. So that one's worth a watch.
Okay. I don't think I've seen a Wardlow match.
Cody does a moonsault off the top of the cage.
Jesus.
Yeah. Cody took some bullets for this company.
It was actually AEW's very first steel cage match.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah. So hopefully Hangman and Swerve can deliver on that one. They've also announced Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland versus Christian, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. That should be pretty cool. We're gonna have some kind of wonky heel turn or face turn, whether it be Christian or Adam Copeland.
Oh, I think it'll be a bit.
We've got an inter.
I think it'll be a bit
Oh,
more
go
of a
ahead.
slower burn than that. I don't think they're going to do a heel or face turn at this one. Maybe a bit further down the line, but maybe this will lead to like maybe one of you have said this before, so correct me if I've said this or if you've said this, but Sting winning the TNT champion off of Christian because it was the channel that WCW was on for so long, and it would kind of be like a coming home for him. Maybe that's what this is leading to. So, but I'm looking forward to it. Should be a fun match.
Anytime I get to watch Sting wrestle on television, I'm uh, be all over that. So yeah, should be fun. We've also got an international championship match: Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley. Uh, do you think Tony Khan, now that everything's back on track, is just going to give that belt back to Moxley, the original plan, or is Cassidy going to actually beat John Moxley? I don't know. What do you two think?
I feel like they'll just put it back on Moxley because as much as I enjoy Orange Cassidy, it just kind of feels like they're doing the same thing he did as international champion the last time, which that's not a bad thing per se, but do you really just want to repeat the same title feud he had a couple months ago? Like, do you really want to repeat it that quickly? So I'm looking forward to this match. I think it'll be good, but I think Moxley should just probably win it and have that reign he was going to have all along.
Yeah, I think we'll see some cool stuff. I think we'll see a more aggressive, vicious, mean side of Orange Cassidy because some Mox is bringing something out of him that we've never seen before, like the shoulder bump. OC looking 2v1, he didn't care. He just went straight after Moxley last night. So I don't know. I think we're gonna see something interesting and cool, but I don't think he's gonna have what it takes, and then hopefully they'll get back onto Mox's plans. But either way, it'll be amazing to see.
I kind of feel the predictable thing would be John Moxley taking the belt back in, I don't know, a squash match, basically, is what I feel would be predictable. I hope they go the unpredictable route. I don't I don't know. It's a tough one. But we've also got the AEW Women's World Championship match: Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm. I'm actually looking highly forward to that. Uh, I don't think they should take the belt off Shida yet. Uh, I feel like they did that to her like a few months ago when she became the second, or however long ago it was, two-time Women's World Championship. Uh, yeah, I love what Tony Storm is doing, but I don't know. I don't think she should get the belt yet.
I kind of disagree. I don't know because as much as I'm enjoying Sheeta now, it also feels like they're not doing that much interesting with her. They're doing something interesting with Tony. Feels like the crowd is behind Tony, and so if you want to do something with this women's division, you should just kind of put the title on a hot act, and that also kind of sounds like hot shotting the title. But at this point, I don't really know what you do. So if Tony Storm is getting all the vignettes, and Tony Storm is getting the interesting character, and Tony Storm is getting the good reactions, and she'll probably still have good matches, I see no reason as to not put the title on her. But if they have something good planned for Hikaru Shida, then yeah, sure. But I would definitely say for me, I want Tony to win it and Tony to get the title.
Yeah, no, same. I'd be just for the moment I've fantasy booked in my head of her getting the title and going, "You love me, you really love me." That's just it's a weird starlet thing that I'm sure is gonna happen. Uh, plus, I feel like she would be, for me, the interest is always the person chasing the title. And I would like to see how she reacts to people stepping up to her because I think that'll just be weird and awesome all at the same time.
Could definitely work. Uh, yeah, I just don't want Sheeta to lose that belt yet. Uh,
It's like the Fiend and Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, where it's like, well, Seth Rollins probably shouldn't lose his title so quickly after beating Brock, but this Fiend character probably shouldn't take a loss. So they just did nothing and had a like no contest in a Hell in a Cell, which was the worst way to do it. But I have faith in Tony Khan. I think he can come up with a better booking plan than one of the worst booking decisions ever. I have faith in the man.
me too. Then the only thing announced, other than all that, is a AEW World Championship match, MJF versus Jay White. And I think we're all in agreement, and there's no way MJF is losing that belt. Uh, in fact, he will get it back from Jay White. Uh, yeah, should be a fun match. Um, yeah, what do you think there? We're all in agreement on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more, way more interesting stories for this. Like literally right after MJF is done with Jay White, you have Wardlow coming back for revenge. You have Samoa Joe probably going to get a title shot no matter what. Let's say Kenny Omega wraps up this Don Callis stuff, he'll be in there. You got Powerhouse Hobbs who is interested, and then you have the Devil who's not much, but could be a fifth interesting one. So you have so many more interesting stories going on right now with MJF that aren't the Bullet Club Gold related. So I'm all for MJF just taking the belt back and being like, "Yep, done and dusted."
Yeah, no, fun little program. I think it just gets him into the really meaty programs, kind of like a palate cleanser in between real serious things.
One thing they pitched earlier this year for, I mean, Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania was him overcoming the odds of the bloodline all by himself and him just being this uber big baby face and going over. So if they didn't do that with Cody Rhodes then, they should just do that with MJF now, where he overcomes all Bullet Club Gold on his own and is able to vanquish them. Like I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, no, MJF's the world champion. Geez, he's already won one handicap match. Plus, like I don't know, yeah, Bullet Club are good, but they're definitely not top level. I think MJF is kind of the end boss right now. What's your feeling, Dave?
Well, I kind of want to get to the Burberry elephant in the room. Kind of all over the internet today, people were talking about the official All In poster featured no MJF on it. Uh,
Hmm.
and that, got rampant speculation, a buzz about MJF leaving
Huh.
at the end of the year.
I didn't even hear
So,
that. I didn't even see anything about that. Could be like a work,
yeah,
like we'll wait till the end of the year, or maybe it's like a CM Punk situation in 2011 where he signed his contract on the night.
but yeah, that was all over the internet today. People were calling it a big clue about his future destination. Uh, so potentially, whoever is after Jay White could be MJF's final feud, and we could, maybe be a little more certain about whether he drops the belt at World's End or not. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, but I don't want him to leave. He literally looks like a main event star, uh, and he wasn't always there. He was close. Uh, Clearly, when AEW started, uh, he stood out. He was a mid card kind of guy, hung around with Cody Rhodes, but then he elevated and elevated and elevated, and he is a ratings draw, a great champion. He's able to work face or heel. Yeah, I don't want him to leave at all. I hope he already signed and we're all getting worked. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely echo that. I feel like he kind of embodies the soul of AEW too. He just gets their vibe so well. Yeah, no, and it's funny thinking about all the stuff he's done in the past. Like I remember during when he was with Cody there, that thing he puts his hand up and or Cody puts his hand up and MJF wraps the scarf around it. Then Cody punches out the window. There's so many iconic moments. Him singing a duet with Chris Jericho, which I don't know, Chandler, how much you've seen, but that's another rabbit hole you can go down.
Haven't seen it, but I know it like made New York Times. So when it does,
Yeah.
like when wrestling's able to break into mainstream media, that's pretty big. So
Yeah, so no, definitely. I hope that stays his home for a while longer because I think he's still got a lot of gas in the tank in that company.
I agree with you guys mostly. Now, as someone who watches both shows, I wouldn't mind it if like MGF showed up in the Rumble. That would be cool. And seeing how they've at least handled Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill, they're treating them like big main eventers. So you have someone like MJF. I don't think they'd misuse them. I kind of have a little bit more faith in the current WWE management of, okay, we have this hot star coming from across the way. Let's treat them right so that when more people look across, they might also come across. Like if they treated Cody Rhodes like shit and sent him down to NXT, Jade Cargill would have never signed, but because he was treated so well and is still being treated so well after a couple losses, like that gives me hope that they treat MJF well. But I think you're right in that he's the heart and soul of AEW. Like I don't think they'd let him do all the shit he does in AEW, and that's part of what makes MJF so good. So as a WWE fan, I think I would not mind him going over. But as a AEW fan, I think AEW would lose a lot. You would have to have someone big step up as much as MJF has been stepping up this year. And I don't know who you do that. Do you fall back on the Elite? Do you bump Swerve up to that level? Do you make Christian be that guy? I don't really know. But I'm all for it. And then the like beauty of that is like we're in a war right now. So in a sense, I mean MJF could go over to WWE for like 2 years, maybe even a year, have a nice little run and go, this wasn't for me, and hop back over to AEW. I mean, that's kind of the good thing about having two pretty big brands, or TNA having a bit of a resurgence, or New Japan doing well. Wrestlers have a bit more freedom to go where they like and kind of shop around. So I'm on the fence. I hate to be a fence sitter on this. I'm fine with both. I want him to go to WWE because I think he'll be treated well, but I think he'll be done better. I think his character will always be better in AEW. So it's hard to see.
Yeah, only time will tell. Not even that much time. What do we got? 2 months. So yeah, we kind of a weird episode of Dynamite. We got a lot to look forward to. Our live Dynamite. What, next week, right? Yeah, on the 8th.
Don't worry, I looked it up. They
I've got-
have not announced anything. So
Okay. Then we've got Full Gear coming up on the 18th. And yeah, I'm
And
really
the
looking forward to
Prestige show
that.
on the 12th. It's going to be a hectic month.
should be fun.
Yeah. It's cool. I don't mind filling my free time with wrestling, so kind of a win-win. Cool. All right. Yeah, that'll do it for tonight. And thank you all for listening. Do all the fun liking, subscribing, comment, ring that bell.
Yes, sir.
that
Get them
fun
notifications on.
Leave a comment.
You don't want to miss an upload. You can't miss out.
Yeah, let us know how we're doing. If there's anything you'd like to see or anything like that in the comments. yeah, everything helps. Yeah, we're just having fun here. We're trying to grow, and again, we're having a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, that'll do it, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.